Yield back.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And Attorney General Garland, there are many others in this room outside of myself that want to thank you so much for such a long career of public service. And as you may know, I lost my son Jordan almost 9 years ago now. He was simply sitting in a car with 3 of his friends playing loud music when a stranger complained about the volume of their music, called the boys gangbangers and thugs, and he took my son's life. And I'm very pleased that the President has committed to preventing gun violence and that he's tasked you with the role of being supportive in gun violence prevention in America. Extreme risk protection orders, also known as red flag orders, allow courts to temporarily remove firearms from those who pose imminent danger to themselves or risk of harming others. In April 7th, 2021, an announcement of initial actions to curb gun violence, the Biden White House encouraged Congress to pass the National Red Flag Law. How would the National Red Flag Law work with other federal protections to prevent gun violence?
So we're in favor of a National Red Flag Law. What we're doing now is making model red flag laws for the states. And these models provide that guns can be taken away from a person in distress, normally from a mental crisis of some kind, when requested by someone close to them, or if there's already a court violation of some kind. But it provides due process protections for those people to ensure that that haven't been inappropriately taken. The risk here is that people in distress can commit violent acts, and when they have easy access to a firearm, the risk is that violent act ends in a death. So I think the red flag laws are very important in that respect.
Thank you, as do I. Attorney General Garland, we lost 49 people, including many young people, at the mass shooting at Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. And the shooter was previously the subject of a 10-month FBI investigation. And during this investigation, the FBI interviewed the shooter's wife, who later said that he strangled her, he raped her, beat her, and even while she was pregnant, he threatened to kill her. 53% of mass shootings involve a shooter killing an intimate partner or family member, among other victims. And even among those mass shooters who do not kill an intimate partner, as in the Pulse shooting, there's often a history of domestic violence. Since the Pulse shooting, has the department updated its domestic investigations and operations guide or U.S. Attorney's manual to ensure that it is examining whether a person has a history of domestic violence?
So I don't know the exact answer into the past. I know that right now the Deputy Attorney General is doing a review with respect to the way in which the department treats victims, including victims in the circumstance that you talked about, and creates warning systems for those sorts of things. So I can't give you any fuller information than that, but I can ask my staff to get back to you.
Thank you very much. If you do so, we appreciate it. Also, can you assure me that you will take action to make sure that we are not missing any opportunities to save American lives?
This is our number one goal.
Thank you. And on May 7th, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. May 7th, 2021, you signed a proposed ATF rule to ensure the proper marking, record keeping, and traceability of all firearms manufactured, imported, acquired, and disposed by federal firearms licensees by clarifying the definition of firearm and gunsmith, among all other small changes. How will this new definition help reduce the sale of ghost guns and increase background checks prior to their purchases?
So ghost guns, which are sometimes ready, build, shoot, they're called. They're kits that you can buy in pieces and put them together. Right now there's some lack of clarity or dispute about whether serial numbers have to be on them, and then whether you need a license, whether a check has to be made in order to determine whether the person is a prohibited purchaser. This rule will require that serial numbers be put on the pieces, and that a federally licensed firearms dealer has to do the background check. This does two things. One, it'll enable us to trace these guns, and second, it will make sure that people who are prohibited because they're a felon or whatever other reason won't be able to get the gun. I've been both in Chicago and New York and been quite stunned to learn the high percentage of guns at murder scenes that a high percentage, much higher than I would have expected, were ghost guns. I had not realized how significant the problem is, but police on the street are reporting that ghost guns are becoming more and more of a problem. So I'm hopeful that this regulation will give us some chance to beat that back.
Thank
The
you so
time of the
much for
gentlelady
taking
has
the time.
expired. Ms. Fishbach.
Thank you, Mr.